At the pre-wedding party, Jason's close female buddy showed up acting mysteriously and handed me a blind box gift. When I opened it, inside were several G-strings that had clearly been worn before, their meaning impossible to overlook. "Anna, don't take it the wrong way," Chloe said. "Jason told me to pick something special. These panties? I tried them on in front of him over and over before deciding. See if you like them." Everyone exchanged looks, their imaginations already running wild. Chloe's gaze was downright provocative, and everyone was waiting for me to explode, waiting for me to lose control like before, screaming and going hysterical. But after getting so angry so often that I literally developed health problems, after receiving multiple critical condition warnings from my doctor, I finally woke up. I lifted my eyes and swept a cold glance across the thin strips of fabric on the table, then calmly took a bite of food. "This size doesn't fit. My hips aren't as flat as yours. Keep them and admire them yourself." Chloe's face turned green, then pale. A moment later, Ethan laughed and said, "Women really are troublesome. Not like us guys. If it fits, it fits. Since Anna doesn't like it, just toss it." Chloe kept her tone flat, but it was obvious someone was getting anxious. Jason gently tugged at the corner of my shirt and said disapprovingly, "Chloe meant well. Why make her look bad?" I let out a short laugh that didn't reach my eyes. I made her look bad? She was trying to humiliate me, and I just returned the favor. This wasn't the first time Chloe had done something like this. Whenever Jason and I appeared together around their group, she always found ways to embarrass me. Chloe had always been bold and rough, blending in with the guys completely, treating herself like one of them. I had told Jason many times that her lack of boundaries was inappropriate, but Chloe always dismissed me, saying I was being dramatic. Now those words felt like thorns stabbing into my flesh. Back then, I once got so furious that I flipped the dishes on the table and demanded that Jason give me an explanation. But instead of calling Chloe out, he scolded me. "Don't act like some crazy woman. You can't even handle a joke between friends." Chloe humiliated me in front of everyone, yet Jason refused to take my side and even blamed me for ruining the birthday atmosphere. I don't remember how things ended that night. I only remember that when we got home, we had another huge fight. Later, my chest started hurting badly, with a heavy ache in my lower abdomen. At the hospital, they diagnosed me with a cystic lesion in my breast. The doctor looked at the pathology report with a serious expression. "If you keep getting this angry, it may worsen to the point we have to issue a critical condition notice." That was when I realized how foolish I had been, hurting my own body over meaningless arguments. Maybe that night had been too long because suddenly many things became clear. People say taking a step back brings a wider sky, but why do I have to be the one stepping back? Chloe liked humiliating others from her high horse, so I would let her taste humiliation too. The atmosphere at the dinner table fell into strange silence because of my words. Everyone looked at me as if I had become a stranger, visibly uncomfortable, especially Chloe, who hadn't gained the upper hand this time. Her jaw was clenched tightly. "Fine," she snapped. "I'm in a bad mood. I'm going to a club to drink. Jason, are you coming or not?" She stood up abruptly, and 2 or 3 of the guys got up to leave with her. Jason had barely lifted himself from his seat when I said, "If you dare go with her, our wedding ends here." In that moment, everyone's eyes widened in shock. After all, I was the one who had always clung so stubbornly. I had chased after Jason for so many years. It hadn't been easy going from school uniforms to wedding vows with him. There was no way I would just give up. Jason frowned tightly, looking helpless. "Anna Taylor, do you have to make everyone unhappy? Chloe and I have been buddies since we were kids. You insist on targeting her like this and putting me in an awkward position. And it's not like this is our first time going out drinking together. Why make such a big deal out of it?" In the past, Jason often got called out to bars in the middle of the night, and he would drink until the early hours of the morning. I had tried advising him, insisting, even begging, but nothing ever worked. Later, every time Jason came home, there would be bright, unmistakable bite marks all over his collarbone. When I confronted him through gritted teeth while holding back my anger, Jason dismissed it casually. Chloe drank too much. 10 minutes later, Chloe even sent me a message just to disgust me. Sorry, I'm like a dog when I drink too much. I bite anyone I see. Anna, you're not mad, right? How could I not be mad? Jason hated having any marks on his body. In the past, after we were intimate, when I once sleepily tried to give him a hickey, he covered my mouth with his hand. I have work tomorrow. It'd look bad if my coworkers saw. But now, as long as Chloe wanted to, she could leave whatever marks she wanted on him without restraint. It was only gradually that I realized how much weight Chloe held in Jason's heart. Good buddies? Did drinking together really require getting a hotel room and sharing a bed? Jason's face, which had been full of anger a moment ago, suddenly drained of color. After a brief moment of compromise, he turned to Chloe and the guys and said, "I'm not going tonight. You all stay with Chloe and have a few drinks." Chloe stared at Jason in disbelief. She punched his chest and cursed. "Coward, you're scared of a woman? Fine, I'll go drink by myself. None of you follow me." She stormed off, furious, and the guys clearly started blaming me. But as for me, I finally felt relieved. After no longer swallowing my rage, even breathing became easier. Before, I had always cared about Jason's dignity in front of his friends. I never dared embarrass them publicly. I only got angry behind their backs. In the end, I made myself so sick I nearly ended up in emergency surgery. Fortunately, I had finally figured everything out and would no longer wrong myself for their sake. At a red light in the car, Jason was clearly distracted, his fingers tapping non-stop against the steering wheel. A few seconds later, he suddenly snapped. "Anna Taylor, you had someone investigate me and Chloe behind my back." I raised an eyebrow in confusion, clearly puzzled. Jason seemed unwilling to say it outright, irritation radiating off him. Seeing how restless he looked, it all became obvious to me in an instant. A cold smile tugged at my lips. "I was only bluffing to scare you two. I didn't expect it to actually be true. You and Chloe really got a hotel room. How many times? Who initiated it?" Jason hit the brakes sharply, glaring at me. "My relationship with Chloe isn't as dirty as you think. We're just close friends. If you keep making up accusations like this, don't blame me for being rude." My chest tightened painfully, like 1,000 ants crawling inside me. I had lost count of how many times Jason had gotten angry at me because of Chloe. Every time he thought he was proving his innocence, all I saw was him defending her. And judging from how he reacted along the way, I knew things between them were far from simple. Jason's song, "How much longer do you plan to hide this from me?" The moment the car came to a stop, Jason received a call. It was from Chloe, an emergency call. "Jason, you idiot, I was almost assaulted. Do you understand or not? Get over here and find me right now." Chloe's slightly tipsy voice came through the phone, carrying a hint of forced weakness that was hard to miss. She always prided herself on being tough like one of the guys. Yet the moment something happened, she suddenly played the fragile damsel. Her intentions couldn't be more obvious. As expected, Jason, who had just stepped toward the door of our house, instantly stiffened. He turned around, heading back toward the car. "Chloe, don't panic. I'm coming now. Wait for me. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I hadn't even finished saying Jason when he shot me a dark warning glare. "Anna Taylor, I don't care what's gotten into you tonight or why you insist on targeting Chloe, but if she's in danger, it's impossible for me to ignore her." And without looking at me again, he slammed on the gas and sped off. I actually felt a little frantic because I was trying to tell him he still had the house key. I hadn't expected him to panic this much. The early winter wind was brutally cold. After standing outside for just a few minutes, my legs were already stiff. Whatever hope or affection I still had left for Jason was slowly worn away by the icy wind. I even found myself laughing at the thought. Would Jason come back at all tonight? My fingers had grown numb by the time I reached for my phone, trying to call a car to go to a nearby motel. But it was too late. No drivers were responding. Jason had said he'd be back within half an hour. But 4 hours passed with no word at all. Then Chloe sent several photos. Explicit. Intentionally taunting. My heart stopped. In the photos, Chloe was wearing the G-string she gave me, straddling Jason on his lap. The surroundings looked like a Japanese-style inn, Jason's favorite one. The warm amber lighting reflected on their dazed faces, making the scene look unmistakably intimate. I stared at the two of them tangled together, and whatever last bit of hope I had left disappeared completely. Then Chloe sent several long voice messages, none of which lacked the sound of the two of them wrapped up in passion. Jason, do you know how long I waited for you? If you didn't show up, I would have found someone else to spend the night with. Jason, sounding like he was barely holding on to the last bit of his sanity, murmured against her mouth. You really dare say that? Looks like I needed to teach you a lesson tonight. Listening to them flirt so openly, my heart was unexpectedly calm. Chloe kept trying to provoke me, sending dozens of photos from different angles, along with more voice messages. If this were before I got sick, I definitely would have rushed over and caused a scene so big everyone would think I had lost my mind. But after getting sick, I finally understood. Loving myself had to come before loving anyone else. If those two had no shame, why should I preserve their dignity? Fortunately for me, I happened to be in several of Jason's family group chats. Consider it giving the elders something interesting for entertainment. Without hesitation, I forwarded all those dozens of messages into the happy family group, then pretended to panic. I'm so sorry, Aunt Mary, Aunt Lisa, Aunt Ruth, Aunt Carol. I forwarded this by accident. I usually make sure not to send anything inappropriate. At 6 a.m, the group blew up. I hugged my stiff, cramping legs as I curled up at the doorstep. That's what happens when you forget your spare key. Yawning, I was about to try calling a ride again when Jason's car pulled up in front of the house. Anna Taylor, are you insane? You sent those messages to the elders? What about Chloe's reputation? She's a girl. How is she supposed to face anyone from now on? I had stayed awake the entire night. I opened my eyes in a daze and sneezed, my voice turning cold. Didn't he say he wanted to be a real man? To be your bro, your precious buddy? What do bros suddenly care about their reputation now? Jason was so caught off guard by my words that he couldn't even catch his breath. He grabbed my arm, but the moment he touched me, he froze. My skin was ice cold. His expression shifted in surprise. Anna, if you're feeling... I cut him off with a cold voice. Once we stepped inside, I headed straight to the bedroom. Very soon, I began burning with a fever. While I was sick, Jason was in his family group chat, desperately explaining things. Aunt Mary, Aunt Lisa, Anna did this on purpose using that stupid app. Nothing happened between me and Chloe. We've been friends for years. How could there be anything physical? Anna's emotions have been unstable lately. I've been planning to get her evaluated at a psychiatric hospital. Since this came up, I might as well tell you all in advance. The group chat, originally exploding with reactions, quickly fell silent again. In order to protect Chloe's reputation, Jason shifted all the blame onto me. That same night, I received a message from his mother. Anna, if you're sick, go treat it early. Accusing two innocent kids like that, your heart is truly vicious. I watched Jason and Chloe grow up together. They've always been like siblings. How could there be anything else between them? Hurry up and apologize in the group. Don't embarrass the Song family anymore. This is completely unacceptable. I listened in confusion, but the grievance sitting in my chest felt suffocating. Ever since Jason and I got engaged, I had treated his father and mother like my own parents. I constantly bought gifts for every holiday, every celebration. And in the end, I wasn't even worth as much in their eyes as the children they had watched grow up. It was heartbreaking. Soon I scrolled through the endless messages in the group chat and saw Jason's so-called explanation. It felt like someone had dumped a bucket of ice water over my head. I started trembling as I called him. So you want to send me to a psychiatric hospital? What do you even mean by that? Tell me, which sentence of mine was slander? Jason said nothing at first. Then he let out a long sigh, his voice frighteningly cold. Anna Taylor, you've been checking up on me for years, acting like some hysterical woman because you're jealous of my friendship with Chloe. And I'll say it one more time, we were drunk at most. It's not as filthy as you think. I already scheduled a psych evaluation for you. Stop acting crazy. I laughed, heat pounding against my forehead, tears spilling out uncontrollably. Thinking about the 8 years I had spent chasing Jason, I realized how much of a joke I'd become. What had I even been clinging to? Jason's song, let's call off the engagement. I don't want to love you anymore. Jason shook his head and sighed again. You really are sick. You're even saying ridiculous, self-deceiving things like that. Reflect on yourself. After he hung up, I received the registration confirmation from Dr. Lewis, the chief psychiatrist Jason had booked for me. My expression turned cold. If they were going to push me this far, then fine, I was done playing nice. Let's see who would lose face first. That weekend was Chloe's 26th birthday. They all met at the bar again. And of course, Jason showed up in the center seat, looking at Chloe with soft eyes as he handed her a gift. You like Gothic-style bracelets, right? I searched everywhere and even bought through resellers to get this limited edition for you. I hope you like it. Chloe's ears instantly turned red, not at all like her usual tough, masculine attitude. She looked almost shy. The guys around them hooted and cheered. I'm telling you, Chloe should just marry Jason already. You two are a perfect match. Exactly, that moody, crazy woman doesn't deserve Jason at all. Listening to the people in their circle belittling me, I let out a cold laugh in my heart. Jason didn't defend me, not even once. Maybe in his eyes, I really was exactly what they said I was. I lowered my gaze, opened my phone, and started a live stream, aiming the camera at their lovely little gathering. Meanwhile, messages from Jason's relatives kept popping up, criticizing me for the drama from the past few days. Jason would never do something so immoral. Anna, you'd better apologize to them. I ignored their messages and sent them the livestream link instead. Since you all say I'm spreading rumors, then I'll livestream everything in real time. There won't be any signs of rumors this way, right? The number of viewers grew rapidly. Some people didn't understand what was happening. The streamer isn't even talking. Is she just filming random people? What's that couple over there doing? Soon, Chloe drank enough to get tipsy. Feeling bold, she dragged Jason toward the restroom. Through the back door of the bathroom, they slipped into a dim, narrow alley. I followed quickly and saw the two of them already kissing passionately in the shadows. The live stream view count jumped by 30,000 in an instant. The chat exploded with excitement. The same relatives who had been demanding that I apologize suddenly went dead silent. I looked at the two people not far away, already half undressed, lost in each other, and finally spoke my first sentence of the night. Tonight, I'm not showing you anything else. Tonight, your streamer is catching a cheater. I flipped the camera toward the two of them, my expression blank, watching them strip and cling to each other. Jason's mother panicked and immediately sent me a message. Anna Taylor, you lunatic. You're going to ruin Jason and Chloe. Turn the live stream off right now. Didn't she insist earlier that she didn't believe me and trusted her son no matter what? So why panic now? This was nothing, not even the beginning. I replied, okay, Auntie. I'll turn it off later, then blocked all incoming messages. I focused entirely on the two people practically glued together in front of me. The live stream count surged by another 100,000. Someone quickly recognized the male lead. Oh my God, I know that guy. People say he's some top-tier engineer who once appeared on finance news. What's happening? You must be new. The streamer said she's catching a cheater. Obviously he's cheating. This is insane. They didn't even get a hotel room. They just had to find some dark corner to start. Their hands are everywhere. Isn't this live stream going to get banned? I can't watch this. In public too? Do they not care about their faces? The dim lighting made the details unclear, but any adult could tell exactly what they were doing. 18 minutes into the stream, Chloe sensed something. She suddenly turned her head and looked directly toward me. The moment our eyes met, she screamed and jumped back, covering herself. I ended the live stream. The show had reached its perfect conclusion. But unexpectedly, seeing me lower my phone, Chloe went insane. She lunged toward me, yanking my hair with both hands. Anna Taylor, you actually filmed us? You psycho. Are you trying to kill us? Jason, who had still been lost in the moment, finally snapped out of it. He scrambled to pull his clothes on. Anna, what are you doing here? The smell of alcohol on Jason's breath drifted toward me. Not much, definitely not enough to justify losing control. I let out a small laugh. I raised an eyebrow at him. If I'm not supposed to be here, then where should I be? At that psychiatric hospital you arranged for me? You can take me there now and see whether the public sides with you or with me. To be honest, tonight's livestream wasn't only to expose Jason's true face, it was also to protect myself. to prove I wasn't delusional or mentally unstable. Now the evidence was undeniable, and no matter how Jason tried to explain it away, he couldn't. Chloe's face drained completely. Wait, what did you do? Jason and I had just made a mistake because we were drunk. Don't you dare twist the story. There it is again, the drinking excuse. I sneered. Funny how your pants never fall off for no reason. I looked at Chloe and said, Before I thought you only liked humiliating me with words. I never expected you to be this disgusting behind my back. Then I added, I started a live stream earlier, just recording my first time at a bar. I didn't expect to catch you two cheating right in front of me. Chloe, you're not mad, are you? I intentionally copied Chloe's favorite mocking tone. When I saw her expression crumble little by little, I felt a wave of satisfaction wash over me. The next second, Jason rushed toward me and slapped me across the face. He immediately pulled Chloe into his arms as she staggered. Anna Taylor, are you looking for death? I held my burning cheek. No one had ever slapped my face before. I never knew it could hurt this much. Jason used to say I was soft, spoiled by my parents, unable to even cook. I'd lie on the sofa, acting cute, and tease him. Why would I worry about starving when you're here? He would laugh helplessly, bring food to me, pinch my cheek and say, Fine, fine, you're my girl, so of course I'll spoil you. Back then, I naively believed happiness had finally come to me. That I'd found someone who loved me with his whole heart. But tonight, his slap woke me up completely. In their group of 5, I had always been an outsider. Without hesitation, I took out my phone, snapped photos of my injured cheek, and then dialed the police. Jason froze, stunned by how quickly and calmly I acted. Anna, do you have to escalate everything? Even if there's something between Chloe and me, it won't affect our marriage. Why can't you just let it go? I laughed coldly. Sorry, I'm petty. I can't tolerate even a grain of sand in my eye. Then I raised my hand and slapped Jason hard, returning the blow he gave me. Chloe's eyes widened as she rushed at me, but I caught her wrist, twisted it back, and slapped her across the face. That's for all the times you humiliated me. You two guessed wrong, I continued. I'm not some weak little rabbit you can bully. Before, I held back because I loved him, because I wanted to be considerate, because I tolerated the people around him. But now? I paused deliberately, watching Jason's face grow darker, like he was holding back a storm. Some things had to be said. I don't love you anymore, so every bit of humiliation you two gave me, I'm returning all of it. And I added calmly, when I said I'm calling off the engagement, I wasn't asking for your opinion. Jason's expression froze. The veins on his neck bulged as he tried to suppress his fury. Anna Taylor, if you cancel our engagement, don't ever dream of me taking you back. I smiled lightly. I wouldn't want that anyway. The police arrived quickly. Chloe hurried to pull on her clothes and all her usual loud, brash attitude vanished. She became unusually quiet. Each of us had a bright, clear slap mark on our faces. The officers frowned. Which one of you threw the first punch? On the way to the station to give our statements, Chloe curled up in Jason's arms, shivering dramatically as if she were freezing, purposely showing off their intimacy. Jason, I'm freezing to death. It's all because of her causing this mess. Jason avoided looking at me and held Chloe tighter. He breathed warm air onto her neck. I'll warm you up. You won't be cold. He used to do that for me too. Whenever I felt cold, Jason would wrap me tightly in his arms. He'd even tease me. They say girls shouldn't touch cold floors in winter. Don't make me catch a fever because of you tomorrow. I'd pretend to kick him in the stomach, laughing. Then don't touch me, problem solved. But Jason never listened. He always warmed my feet anyway. I used to think Jason was naturally gentle and caring. Later, I learned he had been doing these things for Chloe long before he did them for me. Someone else had planted the tree long ago. I was just the one enjoying the shade, but I never felt joy from it. Maybe I should have understood everything from the very first time I saw the way Chloe looked at him. My thoughts drifted as the car pulled up to the station. The police took statements from all 3 of us and mediated the situation. In the end, the officers ruled that Jason and Chloe, since they had hit me, were to compensate my medical fees. After we left the station, Chloe was clearly unhappy and demanded that Jason accompany her. Jason glanced at me, then surprisingly refused. Anna and I have things to discuss, next time. He then drove me home himself. We didn't speak the entire way. I stared at the house, the home we had bought together for after our marriage, and felt a dull ache. Since the engagement is off, let's list the house with an agent. We'll split it according to how much each of us paid. Jason stayed silent. He rolled down the window and smoked 4 or 5 cigarettes before finally speaking. Anna? I never wanted to call off the engagement. I admit I lost control and did something with Chloe. But I still have feelings for you. I didn't look at him. That sentence, hearing it now, was almost laughable. Before, whenever I had meltdowns, Jason just watched me coldly and said, "Chloe didn't mean it. You're overthinking. Chloe and I are innocent, you're just jealous." I kept exploding, hurting myself, until I eventually woke up. Everything he ever said was just the same old excuses cheaters always use. We had barely stepped inside when Jason's mother rushed toward us, looking furious. I hadn't expected her to show up so late. She glared at me first, then immediately turned her anger toward her son. "Look at what you've done. The whole internet is laughing at the Song family now. Even if things between you and Chloe got out of hand, you shouldn't have done it in public. You may not care about your reputation, but I still care about mine." Jason was so humiliated he couldn't say a word. His face looked like he had just swallowed a fly. Then Jason's mother turned her attention to me. "My son is an excellent man. He's had countless admirers since he was young. It's normal for him to make mistakes. If you're upset, fine. I'll add $10,000 to the dowry as compensation for your emotional distress." I had never expected the Song family to be so snobbish. Deep down, they had never truly accepted me, and to think I once treated them like family. Even if I married into this family, I would never be more than an outsider. "No need, Mrs. Song. Your scraps of money don't interest my family. And since you're here, I'll say it clearly, I'm calling off the engagement. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other." It was the first time I had ever seen Jason's mother lose face. Jason stared at me, his eyes dark and unreadable, as if he couldn't understand how things had reached this point. I turned away from them and walked back into the house to pack my things. Just before I left, Jason grabbed my wrist. There was hesitation in his voice. "If you just come back, I can give you another chance." I yanked my hand away. My tone was lighter than it had ever been, almost relieved. "Save your chance for Chloe. I don't need it." Meanwhile, the livestream chaos online kept growing. People dug up every bit of information about the cheating pair. Naturally, they also uncovered the company Jason worked for. Discussions and insults flooded the internet. Some said I was too ruthless. Others praised me, saying anyone betraying their partner deserved exactly this. Jason's company, worried about their reputation, persuaded him to resign. Chloe was publicly shamed as well. All the stores under her name went bankrupt one after another. The other 3 people in their circle quickly distanced themselves and cleaned up their connections. In no time, Jason and Chloe were completely isolated. Everyone despised them. Unable to accept it, Chloe directed all her anger toward me. She sped her car across the city and stormed into my company building, straight into my department office. "Anna Taylor, you bitch," she screamed. "You stirred up public opinion on purpose. You want to ruin me and Jason? And you dare call that love?" My coworkers immediately dropped what they were doing. "Holy crap, isn't that the girl from those scandal videos online? How did she even get in here? Isn't security supposed to be super strict? How did a stranger walk right through?" Chatter filled the room. Chloe didn't even realize how inappropriate she was being. She just kept shouting. "Let me tell you something. I like Jason. That idiot only has room for me in his heart. You think the meals he made for you, and the desserts he cooked for you during your period, were so special? He did all of that for me long before you ever showed up. You're the clown who took it seriously." She jabbed a finger at me. "You'd better clear everything up online, or I'll smash this entire office. I'll ruin your career and make sure you get cursed out just like me." Her threats, meant to be intimidating, were nothing more than desperate flailing in my eyes. I had already realized the truth long ago. None of what she said affected me anymore. "So what?" I replied calmly. "You used connections to get into our company today, didn't you? Who helped you? Want to guess whether Jason knows?" I let out a small, sharp smile. Chloe's face went pale as chalk, her voice stuck in her throat. Of course, she couldn't deny it. Our company hired a professional security team. Entry badges were strictly scanned, everyone was verified, and we had layers of security to prevent corporate espionage. Yet Chloe waltzed right in and even knew exactly which office I worked in. Someone had cleared the path for her. And I had already found out who. It was Manager Zhao, wasn't it? I said. Chloe swayed slightly, nearly losing her balance, clearly struck where it hurt. She glared at me, stunned that I knew. That night, I continued, when you called Jason and joked about finding someone else to spend the night with, I knew you had to have tried it before to say it so casually. And my friend once saw you with Manager Zhao at a cafe nearby. I figured you two had a little secret. Chloe's eyes widened in horror. Back when I was forced to freeze outside my own door all night, I had already secretly asked someone to investigate everything. Chloe, you always claimed you had a guy's personality, careless and rough, but you never expected to trip and fall this hard, did you? Even though I didn't have hard evidence, Chloe was already so panicked she didn't know what to do. If the whole situation came to light, Manager Zhao would absolutely destroy her. Even Jason, who always took her side, might finally cut ties with her completely. Anna Taylor, you're doing this on purpose. You think this will make me give up? I'm telling you, I will never let you win. The moment she finished yelling, Chloe popped open the lid of her thermos and splashed the liquid at me. My instincts screamed that it wasn't just water. I quickly stepped back, trying to dodge it, but a few droplets hit my sleeve as they splattered across the desk. The fabric instantly corroded into a round hole. I was so stunned I couldn't speak. After a long moment, my voice finally came out, shaking with fury. You threw acid at me. My coworkers jumped away in terror. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Manager Zhou from the office next door rushed in after hearing the commotion. Chloe, are you insane? Security arrived and subdued Chloe quickly. Everyone was terrified she might lash out at them too. Manager Zhou clearly favored Chloe, but with things escalating this far, he had no choice but to send her to the police station. I immediately reported both of them to upper management. Their improper relationship, their abuse of authority, sneaking non-employees into the building, nearly causing a serious accident. Less than 2 hours later, Manager Zhao was fired on the spot for misconduct and dereliction of duty. Many coworkers breathed a sigh of relief. Thank God, Anna. Otherwise that pervert would have kept bothering the women here. I heard that girl is your ex's new fling. The internet is going crazy about it. Is it true? I didn't explain much. I simply said, Jason and I are over. Whoever he likes now has nothing to do with me. At the police station, Chloe, having failed to ruin my face, threw a hysterical tantrum. The officers couldn't handle her, so they called Jason to come in. And as soon as Jason reached the doorway, he heard shouting from inside. Manager Zhao, who had lost his job because of her, had already shown his true colors. He slapped Chloe hard across the face and shouted, If I'd known, I'd never have slept with trash like you. You cost me my damn job. Chloe, furious, lunged at him. You disgusting old bastard. If I hadn't been drunk, I'd never have looked at you. You think I slept with you for free? When I tipped you 20 grand, you sure weren't acting like this. 20 grand? You think I wanted your money? You're not even worthy of tying my shoes. Their shouting grew louder and more vicious, until the police finally caught on to something important. They searched Manager Zhao's belongings and found evidence of his illegal soliciting. His crimes were confirmed, and he was detained immediately. Chloe, pushed to her limit and completely breaking down, suddenly met Jason's eyes. The tension between them was so sharp it felt like the air itself might shatter into ice. Jason finally spoke, his expression blank, his voice trembling slightly. So what that man said was true? When you said you'd spend the night with someone else? That wasn't a joke? You've been lying to me this entire time. Once he realized the full truth, a wave of disgust washed over him. He glared at Chloe as if she were a stranger. Chloe had never been looked at like that before. Feeling deeply wronged, she couldn't help but cry out, You can go fool around with Anna, so why can't I find someone else? Do you know how angry I get when you're with her? And suddenly everything made sense. The reason Chloe always dragged Jason out late at night to drink, always after midnight, always when he was with me. She did it just to pull him away from me. Hearing her twisted reasoning, Jason almost couldn't stop himself from hitting her. Anna was my girlfriend. Why couldn't I be with her? But the moment he finished, he froze, because he realized the truth. He and I were no longer together. The silence grew suffocating. Chloe, terrified now, grabbed onto Jason's leg and sobbed. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done any of this. I lost my mind. Please don't leave me. I've been with you for more than 10 years. I can't live without you. I'm begging you, don't abandon me." She cried desperately, trying to cling to him, but Jason felt nothing for her anymore. He didn't defend her even once. He let the police handle everything by the book. When he left the station, he looked back at her one last time and said coldly, "Don't ever let me see you again." In the end, Chloe was detained for 5 months for assault and disturbing public safety, and fined $60,000. My life returned to peace. During that time, Jason called me many times trying to reconcile, but I rejected every call. What's gone is gone. Let it stay in the past. My life slowly returned to a calm, stable rhythm, something I once thought I'd never experience again. But what surprised me most was how quickly karma caught up to him. After getting fired because of the scandal, Jason assumed things would blow over in a few months. He thought that with his experience, other companies would line up to recruit him. But the photos, the videos, and the news from that night never disappeared. They lingered online like a stain that wouldn't wash off. No company wanted to hire him. Not because he lacked skill, but because his reputation was radioactive. In his industry, ethics mattered, and he had shattered them. Jason began spiraling downward. I heard he had to move into a tiny, rundown apartment, selling off his belongings to pay bills and cover legal fees from Chloe's mess. The friends he once called bros avoided him like the plague. The tight circle he was so proud of evaporated in less than a week. Even Jason's parents, who once defended him no matter what, eventually broke under the pressure. They argued constantly, blaming each other for raising a disgrace. Neighbors whispered, relatives judged. They were even reprimanded by their landlord. Eventually, they were forced to move to escape the humiliation. And Jason? One day, I ran into him outside a coffee shop. His hair was messy, his beard patchy, his eyes sunken like he hadn't slept in days. When he saw me, something in him broke. Shock, regret, pain, all tangled together. "Anna," his voice was rough, almost unrecognizable. "I know I messed up. If only I had believed you sooner." I looked at him for a long time. This was the same man who had once been confident, proud, admired by everyone. Now he looked like a shell of himself, someone crushed by the consequences of his own choices. "I used to love you so much," I said quietly, more calm than I ever expected to be. "But you're the one who destroyed everything. And the part that hurts you most isn't losing me. It's realizing I was the only person who ever truly cared." Jason lowered his head. I couldn't see his expression, but I heard the weight of humiliation in his silence. For the first time in my life, he looked small. I smiled, not out of satisfaction at his downfall, but because I finally felt free from every piece of hurt he ever caused me. "Goodbye, Jason. I hope you live well, whatever that means for you now." Jason stood frozen as people walked past him, while I walked away with a steady, peaceful heart. The chapter was closed, and for the first time in years, I finally felt like myself again. Karma wasn't something I dealt out to him. Life simply returned what he had already sown.